You know the feeling. You're grinding through your tasks, carrying the entire weight of a project, while someone else seems to be doing absolutely nothing, yet they get all the recognition. Psychologists call this specific cognitive blind spot the envy trap. When we perceive a severe imbalance in how effort is rewarded, our frustration clouds our ability to accurately assess our own distinct value. To understand how this works in practice, we can look to an ancient fable about a washerman, his dog, and a very jealous donkey. It's a centuries-old story that perfectly maps onto modern imposter syndrome and workplace resentment. As we'll see, left unchecked, this jealousy drives people toward cataclysmic, self-destructive choices. Our case study starts with a hard-working washerman. His entire business model relies on the specialized labor of two animals in his household. This chart plots the division of labor. First, we have the donkey. He is the engine of the operation, providing massive physical output, hauling heavy clothes from dawn to dusk. But his emotional reward from the master remains remarkably low. Now compare that to the dog. The dog serves as a nighttime security system. His physical output during the day is near zero, yet his emotional reward is exceptionally high. He spends his evenings inside, receiving affection and praise. Over time, the donkey stops taking pride in his massive strength. Instead of focusing on the road ahead, he spends his days fixating on the dog sleeping in the shade, obsessively comparing their daily routines. When you stare at a massive imbalance in reward structures long enough, it creates a psychological vacuum, and animal nature, much like human nature, demands that vacuums be filled. The donkey comes to a dangerous conclusion. He assumes the master's affection is tied strictly to the specific actions the dog performs, rather than the function the dog serves. Looking at this Venn diagram, you can see the structural problem with his thinking. We have the donkey's utility on the left, which is brute strength. On the right, we have the dog's utility, which is vocalization and alarm. There is absolutely zero overlap between these two skill sets. But the donkey decides to force an overlap anyway. He plans to abandon his identity as a heavy lifter and take over the dog's nighttime security duties. The conditions for the experiment are set. Night falls over the village. The exhausted washerman slips into a deep sleep, leaving the quiet household sensitive to any sudden disruption. Ignoring your own context to play someone else's game results in failure. The donkey is about to learn exactly why. The donkey executes his plan. He rears back and shatters the silence of the night, braying as violently and loudly as his lungs will allow, fully expecting the master to run out and embrace him. The washerman jolts awake. But he doesn't hear a helpful security alarm. In the dead of night, the sudden, deafening roar of a donkey registers only as senseless, chaotic danger. So the sleep-deprived master grabs a heavy stick. He storms outside, and instead of delivering affection, severely beats the donkey for waking him up. The donkey had calculated that acting like the dog would yield extra food, warm pets, and maybe a spot by the fire. He received a bruised back and an even heavier burden of resentment. Mimicking someone else's success mechanism in the wrong context creates the exact opposite of the desired result. In the quiet aftermath, the dog wanders over to his battered colleague to deliver a necessary reality check. He points out a structural truth about their lives. Distinct roles exist out of necessity. A dog is built with sharp senses to warn of danger. A donkey is built with dense muscle to bear impossible weight. Abandoning your designated role ruins your own credibility and leaves your specific responsibilities unfulfilled. You become valuable to an organization when you fully understand why you are there in the first place, not by coveting the tasks assigned to the person sitting next to you. Recognizing his error, the donkey finally drops his jealousy and recommits to hauling the laundry with honest efficiency. This translates directly to how we navigate our own careers. When we look at peers who are advancing faster or receiving more praise, our first instinct is often to abandon our own strengths and try to copy their exact playbook. But lasting success requires an entirely inward focus. It demands that you identify your own built-in capacities and optimize them, rather than constantly checking the scoreboard of the people around you. True fulfillment arrives when you figure out what you are uniquely built to do and execute that task with absolute dedication. Because blind imitation is a trap, and stepping into it will always backfire.